All right, go ahead whenever you're ready.
So, Kite Runner. It's a book. It's got a lot of themes. You know what the most important one is though? Guilt. Now a lot of people think that guilt is just a bad feeling that bad people get when they do bad things. That's not how it works. Guilt is something that can manifest physically. Guilt is something that holds you back from achieving your true potential. And guilt is the main factor behind Amir's decisions in Kite Runner. Speaking of Amir, this is Amir. Say hi.
Hi.
This is Amir's conscience. And this is the bag of sins. It's a special tool that'll help us later. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to go into Kite Runner, and we're going to see how guilt affected Amir. We're going to see how it influenced his decisions. So, jump right into things. The setting is Afghanistan. It's the 60s. Here's little Amir. He has a lot of fun. He goes to school. He tells Hassan to shoot stuff with a slingshot. Kid stuff. But then Amir learns pretty early on that through talking to Baba and seeing Baba cry alone in his study, that Amir's mom died in childbirth. And so Amir comes to reason that if my mom died giving birth to me, then I'm the reason that I don't have a mom, and I'm the reason that Baba sits alone in his study crying. And this is the first instance of guilt in Amir's life. So, could you please label this sin as mom guilt? So, to truly see how Amir felt, we can't give Alejandro childhood trauma. What we can do is make him exert himself physically. So, go ahead and start on life's trials. So as you can see, it's not that bad for Amir, because he's still a kid. He has fun, kid stuff. He's only reminded of this whenever he sees Baba crying alone in his study. And so yeah, look at that, he's done. Maybe not that fast for Hercules, but.
Oh my god, he's in all the...
So how is it? Not bad, right?
Not bad.
Okay, well don't get used to that because we all know what's coming next. So fast forwarding a little bit. Amir one day gets a bright idea.
Maybe if I win the kite flying tournament, my dad will love me more.
Great idea. So, Amir gets that great idea. So he gets a kite, he rigs it up, and he competes in the tournament. Doesn't do too bad either. Some smart flying, and a little bit of luck. He wins. Last kid's kite goes flying across town, and Hassan bolts after it. Amir also bolts after it, but not as fast, because Hassan's really fast. So eventually, Amir catches up to Hassan and finds him in an alleyway. But Hassan is being pinned down by Asef and two of his friends and is being raped. Amir is so starstruck by this, he can't even move. He just stands there trying to process what he's seeing. Eventually, he does get the instinct to walk away from the alley and try and process more about what he just saw and how he did nothing about it. And so eventually, Hassan comes out and just says, "Here's your kite." Now, if we're talking guilt in Kite Runner, this is the biggest instance of it in Amir's life. So, do you want to do it? Okay, Adriana.
Oh my god!
You know, you have a laptop.
I got you.
Here, could you please label this as rape?
It's so heavy.
Oh my god.
So, again, if we're talking about guilt in Amir's life, this is by far the worst sin. So go ahead and get started. And now, this is when the guilt gets bad. This is where the guilt starts to get bad. This is where he finally thinks, oh my god, I want to get rid of this. Look at him, he's suffering. And so Amir comes to reason, I have to do something. I have to get this guilt off my back. And so he starts throwing pomegranates at Hassan because he wants to feel the same pain that Hassan felt. But Hassan just says, no, I want to throw those pomegranates back. And so after a while, Amir still feels bad. So he gets an idea. He thinks, if I hide one of Baba's fancy Rolex watches, then blame Hassan, Hassan's going to get so mad at me. So Amir hides one of Baba's fancy Rolex watches and he says to Baba, Baba, I saw Hassan hide one of your fancy Rolex watches. And Baba says to Hassan, he says, Hassan, did you hide one of my fancy Rolex watches? And Hassan just goes, yes, I did. And Amir is so confused. He goes, what the? And so little does Amir know, Ali and Hassan leave after this, and this is the last time that he ever sees Hassan. This is all caused by the weight of guilt on Amir's back. And if we're keeping score, the list of bad things Amir has done to Hassan is like an essay right now, while the other side is like literally nothing. And so, the weight of guilt is really pushing down on Amir right now. And let's fast forward a little bit. So Hassan's gone, Taliban moves in. Amir and Baba have to leave. I'm fast forwarding through this part because while the weight of guilt from his past is still present, he's distracted by it because of his good life right now. All the rest he's getting. And so he goes to America, he gets a wife, he gets a nice career. Baba dies, but Baba dies happy because Amir is living such a good life. But Amir has a problem that he can't have kids. And so he gets a call from his partner, Rahim Khan. And Rahim Khan just says, I have a way for you to be good again. And Amir says, I'm going back to Afghanistan like that. Because though he hasn't had to deal with guilt in a while, it's still there, and he knows it, and Rahim Khan knows it too. So Amir goes all the way back to Afghanistan, where Rahim Khan says, Hassan's dead, but if you ever want a chance to make things good again between you two, well, it's not going to happen because he's dead, but the best thing you could do is save Hassan's son. And so Amir says, I want this weight off my back so bad, I'll do it. I'll save Hassan's son. And so Amir gets hooked up with a tour guide, and the tour guide's like, this guy, he probably just left a while ago and forgot some money, and now he's coming back to get it. But through talking to Amir, after a little while, the tour guide comes to reason that this guy, all right, he's saving this Hazara kid. All right, he's not so bad. Here, tell you what, we gotta stop for the night. I got a nice place, I got a nice wife, she'll make a nice dinner. It's great. And so Amir goes, he has dinner, it's great, the wife's great, the food's great. But then Amir's going to sleep that night, and he hears the tour guide arguing with his wife. That because they fed Amir that night, the tour guide's children didn't get to eat. This hungry kids are not good for Amir's conscience. And so, this is where it really sinks in for Amir. That Hassan is dead. And he'll never get to tell Hassan how bad of a friend he was, and how good of a friend Hassan was. And here it really sinks in that he wants this weight off his back so bad, he's willing to do whatever it takes. He's going to go the extra mile, he's going to do everything he can to carry out what Hassan would have wanted. If you'll notice, the backpack that Alejandro is wearing is tearing at the seams, much like how Amir's conscience was tearing under the weight of all the guilt that he's feeling. Now, Alejandro, do you remember what happens after that?
No.
No, you don't?
No.
Okay, well actually what Amir does to get rid of some of the conscience is he slides some money under the kid's bed. But since you don't remember that, just do it again, everything. What? Doesn't seem fair, right? What's important to remember is that life wasn't fair to Amir. Hassan didn't ask to be born a Hazara. They didn't ask for a kid like Asef to grow up in their community. But it happened anyway. And so, eventually, they get to the orphanage where Sharab was supposed to be. And they're like, where's Sharab? The orphanage is like, Taliban took him. And so, they're at a soccer game right now. And so Amir goes to the soccer game, and he sees what an atrocious mess Afghanistan has turned into as people buried up to their heads, are buried up to their necks, are having stones thrown at them. But eventually gets pulled aside by none other than Asef. And Asef says, yeah, I got Sharab. And here Amir sees that Sharab is probably being abused in the same way that Hassan has been. And Asef says, if you want him, you're going to have to fight me for it. And here, Asef puts on his brass knuckles and just obliterates Amir physically. But the opposite happens to his conscience. As Amir is getting beat up by Asaf. Here, the weight of guilt finally lifts from his back as he realizes now he's getting subjected to the same pain that Hassan felt. He's feeling the same pain Hassan felt. They're finally equal. And he's working so hard to try and make things as good as they can be. And eventually, getting beat up enough, Sharab shoots Asaf in the eye with the slingshot, and they're able to make a getaway. And so, things seem to be good now. Amir says to Sharab, Sharab, I'm going to adopt you. Sharab's like, awesome, I hated the orphanages. Amir's like, adoption agency, I want to adopt Sharab. Adoption agency's like, no can do, you're going to have to wait like a year or two. Amir's like to Sharab, Sharab, you're going to have to chill in an orphanage for a little while. Sharab's like, I hate those. Amir's like, and so, that night it becomes apparent to Amir that Sharab would rather die than stay in one of those orphanages. Because that night, Sharab attempts suicide. And this is the greatest instance of guilt in Amir's life. Could you please write attempted suicide for this, please? This is the greatest instance of guilt in Amir's life. Because everything he's come so far to do, everything he's worked so hard for to make things better with Hassan, is now all fading away. It would have all been for naught. And so far, the literal weight of guilt on Alejandro's back has been, what, like, I don't know, 250 pounds? But, no, 55, that's the number. But right now, things are so bad, all the guilt of before amplified, but he's about to lose everything right now, that I think we should kick that weight up to about 190. So all Amir has to do is 1 or 2 squats, and if he can handle that, then he can make it through the night. Just one squat, Amir. Amir barely made it through that night. Amir figured, no, I've come this far. I don't care. I'm breaking the rules. Sharab, you're coming with me. We're coming to America. And with that, the book closes. With Amir having done absolutely everything he can to make things better. And as Sharab flies that kite in the last scene, all the weight of guilt lifts from Amir's back.
All right. That was a hell of a job.
You're right.